Hi, Mandii J here with another Funko Pop review. This time we have Hercules, the main character of the Hercules wave that just came out not too long ago. And again with me today I have Mr. Transformer 96.
Oh yes, very excited for this Hercules pop line in general. So far we've picked up and have been reviewing Hercules, Meg, the regular Hades, as well as the exclusive Hades. We hope to have a few more Hercules pop reviews coming your way, along with the rest of the assortment being Baby Herc and Baby Pegasus. So when those are released,
even a Phil?
Yeah, possibly a Phil. We'll see. And hopefully a few Jaces we'll eventually be able to get, and then of course give you guys a review.
Yes.
So overall, liking the box, standard Hercules box. I do like this Hercules Greek Disney styled like logo there. I wish that kind of extended itself to the front and any section, even just in the background there or right here. That would have been kind of neat, but overall it does look nice.
The caricature on the side looks really nice.
Very good.
I feel like it's a really solid looking box right now. Like it's
and
something
he fits
nice
in it,
and clean.
Yeah, he fits in it nice enough where you can really see the whole thing. Maybe if he was slightly lower, I think that would allow you to be able to see his hair a bit better, and his legs you can see completely fine. So he could be lowered, and you really get like the full view of him. But
he does definitely sit higher than normal pops, I feel.
Yeah, but overall, there's not much that's hidden on him, and he does look pretty nice in package.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, time to take him out of package?
Yep.
Let's do it.
Here we have him outside of the box, and I have to say, I love the sculpt, and I think the character really came through on this one.
Yeah. I think purely from the design purposes of how they've designed his individual features, I think that they really nailed it. I think that the face, the curly chin looks good. I wish that there was a bit more of a spiral sculpted in the chin.
That would have been good.
Yeah, but I do still like the fact that his chin is very visible.
And I like how his hair's kind of messy. It's not all back, and he has that kind of one hanging out.
He's got the swirl there, which I do think looks good. I even think his feet with the sandals looks very nice. I like the proportions on them.
It's a very clean paint on the sculpt of the feet, too, as well. You really don't get any of the sandal paint onto the feet or anything like that.
Yeah, quite impressive considering the colors are so starkly different, so that is quite nice. And his little toga or like section, skirt section, gladiator section there, it does look pretty nice. You do have some good detail there in the belt as well.
I definitely have to say, they've been getting really good about detailing things, even the smallest of things too, which I have to say I'm really pleased about. And I also like the swoosh of his cape, the fact that it's in motion and it has some kind of character to it.
It's a small detail, but it is definitely appreciated.
Yeah.
And his muscles look pretty good there as he's flexing on this side.
Yes.
It definitely represents that. However, I think that's where we both find a flaw in this pop. Is the pose.
I feel like it's not characteristic at all for him. I know he gets cocky at one point in the movie and stuff, and he kind of becomes, high and mighty just a little bit, because he's like, oh, this is what it's to be, a god and everything, but I think his father was trying to teach him a different lesson. He was kind of off, and I get that, but it seems too frat boy for me.
Yeah. I totally agree. I'm not a fan of this pose. I think Hercules having him point at his muscle, I can't even picture him actually doing that in the movie.
See, if he was doing that pose where he's to be a true hero is what it is, how he has his hands on his hips and he's like a true hero.
Flexing both of the muscles. I would have liked it's the fact that he's pointing to one muscle and he's got this little smirk.
I kind of feel like he's saying, "Do you even lift, bro?"
Yeah, it very much looks like that.
I kind of can't take it as he doesn't seem Hercules. He kind of seems as a guy who's I have the muscles to dress like Hercules.
Totally, yeah. Which is definitely disappointing.
Just a little bit.
And as far as Hercules, there's lots of cool poses that they could have gone with. I definitely like the pose where he's on Pegasus and he's holding up his sword.
Yeah,
I think it's disappointing not to get his sword anywhere on this figure. I definitely would have liked him to be holding it. At one point when he's fighting the Hydra, he does have a shield, so that would have been cool to represent as well. Not necessary, but cool. And I just think that this pose, frat boy pose, is perfectly put. Doesn't really fit the character and doesn't really do the pop justice.
I mean, it's okay. It's not something terrible. It wasn't necessarily something that caused us not getting this pop. We were still kind of
But I certainly wasn't excited about it.
But it is a little bit of a disappointment that the pose isn't better.
Definitely.
Because they had so many choices from the movie they could have went with that would have been 10 times better. Because if you're going to go confident and cocky with him, there were so many other poses in the movie that more scream it, that match his character.
Yeah, definitely. And what makes it even worse is the fact that the rest of the assortment really nails their poses, in my opinion at least. I love Meg's pose. And Hades' pose couldn't be any better. Like, they've went all out when it comes to posing their pops, which is definitely something that I appreciate immensely, as I love poses in the pops when they do, have them in action. I like that very much, and I'm very glad to see that they actually did do that with the Hercules pops, and they nailed most of them. I even like Phil's pose. I mean, it's good.
Yeah.
And even with Pegasus is the only, baby Pegasus is the only one that's a little poseless, but everybody else they went with a very extreme pose for, and they nailed all their characters.
Well, no, I think the reason why they posed baby Pegasus the way they did is because in the beginning when he, his dad is sculpting him out of clouds, I think that's the pose they,
yeah, that's true.
went with. Because he was kind of he's sitting when his dad kind of sculpts him, and he's had a little wings and stuff like that. Yeah, so I mean that makes sense for baby Pegasus. It's not necessarily the most action-packed pose, but if you know the movie, it definitely fits.
I would have liked him
well
kind
enough.
of rubbing his face up so that you can put him against baby Herc. I think that would have been
cute.
Cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall they nailed the poses, and they've really tried on the poses for the other figures. And then Herc is definitely disappointing when it comes to the pose.
Yeah.
Figure-wise, though, otherwise, I think it's very good. So, this is one out of these three. This is definitely the one I find to be the least impressive. I would highly recommend getting Hades and Meg before you got Hercules, other than the fact that Hercules is the main character. So if you're just, basing it on the figure itself, Hercules is the weakest one. But, of course, if you're going to have a Hercules display...
I don't know, because you're very, reluctant to getting Phil.
I'm just talking about these three right now. Yeah,
I'm just
Phil,
saying.
Personally, I don't... There's something about Phil that feels off to me. We'll get into that if we end up buying Phil, but he just... I have no urgency to get Phil.
Well with him.
Maybe he's too big. I think that I don't like the fact that he's as big as these other guys, and I kind of want him to be small. If they do the same thing with Pain and Panic, I think that I'll be very disappointed as well. So I think the size is definitely an issue for me. I don't know. We'll get into that if we end up getting that figure. But yeah, overall, any final thoughts on Hercules?
I mean, I do think he's a very well-rounded pop. There's a lot to be desired. I do like the spiral, that's included in his elbow and stuff. They do kind of incorporate the things that you look for. Again, the only thing that kind of really bugs me is the pose, just because I feel like it doesn't necessarily scream his characteristic, and we could have been, had a bit of a different pose. But other than that, I'm really pleased with him. I love the nose sculpt on all of these guys. I love how they look. I even love the fact that even though they kept the standard pop head with Herc, they at least gave him a chin. So yeah, that's about all I have to say.
So close to greatness, but just misses the mark with the pose.
Just a little bit.
Just a bit.
But anyway, still a great pop. If I would highly recommend, if you love Hercules, it's one of your childhood favorites or whatnot, I would still say get him. I don't think he's necessarily something you should pass up.
Yeah,
unless you're not really into the movie, or it was kind of eh.
Yeah, I'm a huge Hercules fan, but I don't regret getting this one at all. So yeah, I'm disappointed in the pose, but I still love him for my display. If I was only going to get Hercules, I probably wouldn't like this, but for the collection as a whole, this is a great addition.
Yes, I would definitely agree. Well, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, you know where to leave them.
And thanks so much for watching.